What's up everyone? Welcome back to LSRA 10. If you're excited for the FIFA World Cup round of 16, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new and share this video with your friends. We have got all 8 round of 16 previews covered, so you don't want to miss any one of them. Now let's talk about one of the most exciting ties of the knockout stage. 5-time world champions Brazil taking on fearless Norway side led by the unstoppable Erling Haaland. On paper, Brazil are favourites. They always are. They are the most successful nation in World Cup history. They are chasing a sixth title, and they have got Carlo Ancelotti on the touchline with stars like Vinicius Jr., Bruno Guimaraes, and Endrick at his disposal. But this isn't the straightforward Brazil victory many people expect, because Norway have something that very few teams possess. They have belief. They have Erling Haaland. And perhaps the most unbelievable statistic of this entire round of 16. Brazil have never beaten Norway. Yes, you heard that correctly. Across every single meetings between these two nations, Brazil still doesn't have a victory. For a country with 5 World Cups and countless footballing legends, that's an incredible statistic. Norway have always found a way to make life uncomfortable for Brazil, and they'll believe they can do it again. But this Norwegian team isn't just living off of history. They're arguably the most entertaining team in the tournament so far. The 4 matches have produced goals, drama, and excitement every single time. They have scored against everyone they have faced, including France, despite heavily rotating their squad. And they arrive here after defeating Ivory Coast 2-1 in the round of 32. Antonio Nusa opened the scoring before Erling Haaland once again delivered when it mattered the most with a late winner. That victory wasn't just another result, it was Norway's first ever FIFA World Cup knockout victory. Now they're dreaming even bigger. Standing in their way are Brazil. Brazil's journey to this stage has been much more complicated than the results suggest. They opened with a 1-1 draw against Morocco before comfortably beating Haiti and Scotland 3-0. But in the round of 32, Japan exposed several weaknesses in this Brazilian side. For long periods, Japan controlled the midfield. They pressed aggressively, forced Brazil into mistakes, and even led the game before Brazil eventually found a dramatic stoppage time winner through Gabriel Martinelli. That match told us two things. Firstly, Brazil still know how to survive difficult knockout matches, and secondly, they are far from perfect. And against Norway, they'll be facing that toughest attacking test of the tournament. The biggest reason, of course, is Erling Haaland. 5 World Cup goals already. More international goals than international appearances. Week after week, we have watched him terrorize Premier League defenses, and now he's doing exactly the same on the biggest stage in football. But Haaland isn't carrying Norway alone. Martin Odegaard has quietly been one of the best creators at this World Cup. His vision, his passing, his understanding with Haaland have made Norway incredibly dangerous in transition. Add Antonio Nusa's pace, Alexander Sorlot's physicality, and a midfield that presses relentlessly, and suddenly this team looks like a team capable of causing real problems. What I like the most about Norway is that they don't play with fear. They're not going to sit back and hope for penalties. They're going to press Brazil. They're going to attack Brazil. And if Brazil lose possession in midfield, Norway have the quality to punish them instantly. That midfield battle might actually decide this match. Brazil have looked vulnerable whenever opponents have pressed Casemiro and Bruno Guimaraes aggressively. Japan managed it. Morocco managed it for spells. Norway will certainly try to do it as well. If Brazil can't control possession, this game becomes incredibly uncomfortable. But then again, Brazil possess something Norway simply cannot match: individual brilliance. Vinicius Jr. has been Brazil's best player throughout this tournament. He's already scored in all 3 group stage matches, constantly stretching defenses, and has become the player Carlo Ancelotti relies on whenever Brazil need an inspiration moment. Every time Brazil looks stuck, the ball eventually finds Vinicius, and more often than not, something happens. And then there's Bruno Guimaraes. His ability to dictate the tempo, find runners between the lines, and unlock deep defenses has quietly made him one of Brazil's most important players. Then comes the biggest selection headache. Does Carlo Ancelotti finally trust Endrick from the start? The young striker has looked sharp every time he's come off the bench. Neymar has barely featured throughout the tournament, while Rafinha has just only returned to training. Brazil suddenly have several attacking options, and that's where the squad depth became such a huge advantage. Meanwhile, Norway's strength is consistency. Everyone knows their system, everyone knows their role, they defend aggressively, they transition quickly, and every attack looks for Haaland. Speaking of Haaland, perhaps the individual battle I'm most excited for is Gabriel Magalhaes versus Erling Haaland, the Man City striker versus the Arsenal defender. These two know each other really well from the Premier League. Gabriel has probably defended against Haaland more than anyone else in world football over the last few seasons. Sometimes Haaland has won, sometimes Gabriel has won. Now they meet again on the biggest stage possible. But here's the interesting part. Stopping Haaland isn't just Gabriel's responsibility. Brazil must stop the passes reaching him in the midfield in the first place. That's why Martin Odegaard becomes important. If Odegaard finds the time between lines, Haaland will eventually get his chance. And with Haaland, one chance is often enough. Norway's biggest concern lies at the other end. They have scored plenty, but they have conceded plenty as well. Their aggressive style naturally leaves space behind their defense. Against Vinicius, Ryan, Enric, or Martinelli, that's a dangerous game to play. Brazil love open spaces. Norway often leave open spaces. That could be the difference. Another factor worth mentioning is experience. Norway deserve enormous credit for reaching this stage, but this is unfamiliar territory for them. Brazil, meanwhile, have generations of players who understand exactly how to manage knockout football. They have played under pressure, they have survived difficult moments. They know that in knockout football, patience often matters more than perfection. That's why I don't think Brazil will panic if Norway score first. They've already come from behind once in this tournament. Ancelotti has shown he's willing to change games from the bench, and Brazil's substitutes could become absolutely crucial if this game goes deep. That's actually where I think this match is decided. For 90 minutes, I genuinely think Norway match Brazil. Their pressing causes problems. Haaland scores, Odegaard creates chances, Brazil respond through Vinicius and eventually find themselves level. I can easily see this match finishing 2-2 after normal time. And honestly, I think that's exactly what happens. Because Norway have enough quality to trouble Brazil, but Brazil have enough attacking talent to keep coming back. Then we reach extra time. This is where experience becomes everything. Norway have already achieved the greatest World Cup run in their history. Brazil are chasing a sixth World Cup. Those are two different types of pressure. Over the another 30 minutes, I think Brazil's squad depth starts to show. Fresh attackers, fresh legs, more quality from the bench. Eventually, one moment of brilliance will settle it. Whether it's Vinicius, whether it's Enric, whether it's Martinelli, I think Brazil finally break Norway's resistance. It won't be comfortable, it won't be convincing, and it certainly won't be easy. But they'll find at least one goal. And for the first time ever, Brazil finally beat Norway. My prediction is Brazil 2, Norway 2 after 90 minutes before Brazil score in extra time to win 3-2 and book their place in the World Cup quarterfinals. This is my opinion. It will be one of the matches of the tournament. Expect goals, expect drama, expect Haaland to make headlines once again. But in the end, I trust Brazil's experience, their bench quality, and the individual brilliance of Vinicius Jr. to carry them through. What do you guys think? Do Brazil finally end their winless record against Norway, or can Haaland produce one of the biggest upsets in World Cup? Drop your predictions down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to LSR10. I'll be back very soon with another round of 16 preview. Until then, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.